Hello and welcome to another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, the kitsch-minded show where we talk about toys, boys, and life's other joys. I am your host, Nightcat. Thank you so much for being here. I've got a very exciting show for you, and we're going to kick it off with Wild Wednesday. Wild Wednesday, of course, where I bring in a critter from my job as Scales and Tails and introduce them to you. I'm going to hide my coffee in case she decides to get, thirsty. This is Drogo. Drogo is a black and white tegu lizard, and she's my favorite. I work with a lot of animals, and I know I'm not supposed to play favorites, but she's my favorite. She is the sweetest little thing in the entire world. She loves to just snuggle all the time. She's a big old snuggle monster. These guys come from down in South America, primarily concentrated in Argentina, and they are found all over the place. In fact, they are what's called an abundant animal. It's basically the opposite of being endangered. In fact, they're so common down in Argentina that if you find yourself down there, you go to a restaurant and you see on the menu chicken of the trees, it's not chicken. Now here's the thing, evolutionarily, a lot of reptiles aren't all that bright. Like a snake has a very simple brain. They pretty much understand, I'm hungry, I'm in danger. I need shelter, I need to hide. Whatever it is, those are very simple. They don't have emotions, quote unquote. Snakes are very, very simple. These guys tend to be an exception. People who handle them and care for them regularly say that they are very, very smart. Some claim that they've been able to litterbox train their tegus. Some claim that they have been able to teach them simple commands. And there have even been cases where they show like an emotional attachment. So if they get separated from a longtime handler, they get sick, almost like they have a heartbreak. We are gonna feed her a nanner. I don't know if she'll go for a nanner from my hand. She doesn't usually get hand fed. You want this nanner? Oh my goodness, you want that nanner? What do you think? What if I put it down and I slowly roll away? Will you eat it then? Oh, I can get it? I didn't get it? Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have anything else. That's what I brought for you. I got that for you. Get it. Oh, yeah, get it. Mmm, crunch. It's like Jurassic Park in my kitchen right now. That took a long time, huh? We're doing this for educational purposes. This is what a lizard looks like when it eats a banana. Maybe some water. Maybe some water is what would do you some good right now. What do you think? Would you like some water instead? Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's the stuff, huh? Earlier, I let her out into the backyard to get some exercise. I thought she might walk around and she might enjoy stretching her legs a little bit. She found a sunspot and promptly fell asleep. She took a sunbeam nap and wasn't even sorry about it. She didn't want to exercise at all, which, same girl, same. You got your nanners, you got your sunbeam, you're feeling good, you're looking incredible. Hurry. Yeah, good work. Delicious nanners. Alright, I think it is time to put her away. Now I have to clean up all the banana she left all over my desk and the lizard cooties. Everyone say goodbye to Drogo. Bye, guys. Oh, I love you so much. Alright, I'm going to put her away. She's being a lot right now. I'm going to put her away, and then I'm going to come back with the litter box. Ew, what stinks in here? So the lizard pooped on me when I was putting her away, and so I had to throw all of my laundry into the wash, go upstairs and take a shower and change my clothes, which is why I'm wearing something different. I'm doing a Katy Perry outfit change. Whew, grand reveal. Welcome to the litter box. This is the part of the show where I go through the stupid news and I only bring back the best stuff to tell you. Hey, have you ever thought about dating Joe Exotic? Joe the Tiger King Passage Maldonado Exotic? He is hosting a dating show. Well, I guess he's not gonna be hosting it. He'll be the prize. I use that word loosely. He'll be the prize in this dating show. Back in March, he announced that he and his husband Dylan were splitting, even though Dylan stuck with him all the way through the prison and everything. But finally, they are getting their divorce. And he believes, Joe Exotic does, that he'll be out of prison by the end of the year. There's no real reason why. No one can figure out what he thinks he's getting out of prison for. But he was sentenced to 22 years in prison for attempting to murder Carol Baskin, or I guess hiring someone to try to kill Carol Baskin. I don't think is getting out of prison anytime soon, but he seems pretty optimistic he's getting out. So he is welcoming boys 18 and up to apply to be on his dating show, The Bachelor King. You have to be a man, and you have to apply on his website, joeexoticusa.com. I went through and I looked at it. We'll get into that in a second. He's going to pick 3 finalists that he is going to fly on an all-expenses-paid trip to date Joe Exotic. So you and I guess 2 others are going to try to win his affection. If it's anything like The Bachelor, I think that that's what he's going for. My favorite part about this whole thing is that he shared this information on Facebook with the quote, "Yes, straight guys are welcome to apply," which is hysterical because when I went to the application page for Bachelor King, there was an ad on the website, a little box, and it was to Joe Exotic's t-shirt that says, "You ain't that straight." And by the way, let's zoom in on that. Take a look at the "You ain't that straight." It looks like someone did this in Microsoft Paint and they didn't even bother centering it up. Come on, Joe. Your standards are slipping since you went into the clink, bro. Let's get some better merch up on that site, huh? My thing is, like, okay, back in the day, guys would get with Joe Exotic, especially straight guys, would get with Joe Exotic because he had tigers and meth. He would get him hooked on drugs and he would get him hooked on big cats, right? Well, now he doesn't have tigers. So now it's just meth. And if I want just some guy who's about to get out of prison to take me into a meth lifestyle, I can find that literally anywhere. I don't have to go with Joe Exotic. He's scary. This is nuts. A Tennessee couple went on a shooting spree because of a chicken sandwich. So apparently, Tavares McKinney and Kiana Halliburton were yelling at Burger King employees because they said that his chicken sandwich was too spicy. You know, the spicy chicken sandwich at Burger King that has probably the exact scientifically measured spice level on every single piece of chicken that is universally loved, the spicy chicken. Yeah, it was too spicy. After what is described as an initial confrontation, I don't know that that one was physical, the couple left. They circled around in their car, and he started firing into the parking lot. Boom, 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 boom. He struck 2 women. He was going after 2 others before they sped off. Police eventually arrested them, and they are facing 4 counts of attempted murder and 4 counts of, hold on, let me make sure I get this right, 4 counts of using a firearm in commission of a felony. And if you'll remember, back in like November 2019, when Popeyes re-released the chicken sandwich, a man got stabbed to death over that chicken sandwich. We are warring with each other over chicken sandwiches like we are survivors in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and the only resource left is chicken sandwiches. Be careful, they're coming for your chicken. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that Tyson brand chicken is being recalled because of a listeria outbreak? So go online and look for the specific types of chicken from Tyson that are being recalled, and make sure you don't have any of that in your freezer, because if you eat it, it could make you real sick. Ugh, factory farming, that'll do it to you, man. It's bad news. A Florida woman allegedly drove drunk and smashed into a Taco Bell sign before speeding off. She was later pulled over by police because she sped through 2 red lights, and when they looked at her car, they're like, oh, that car looks pretty messed up. They take a peek at her ID. Her last name is Booze. Booze! Her last name is Booze, and she's a drunk driver. It's just a masterpiece. Now, I have to say alleged drunk driver because they didn't actually get to test her right there in the field. She refused a breathalyzer. But here's the thing. She has previously been convicted 7 times for driving without a license and once for grand theft. So I'm assuming there's probably a DUI or 2 in the mix as well. Ms. Booze was charged with a DUI, fleeing the scene, and driving on a suspended license. You know, for the 8th time. Girl, let's get you a bus pass, or let's move you to a city that has a decent public transit system. I don't want you going to jail anymore because you can't drive without a license. The really messed up thing is, I feel that we can't get anywhere without a car, right? I don't know where you live, but in Utah, where I'm from, the public transit system is a joke. It's terrible. You can't get anywhere. One time I mapped out, I was like, maybe I'll take public transit, try to do the right thing for the environment. So I mapped out how long it would take to get from my house to my job, which is a 14-minute drive. And it was going to be an hour and a half with like 4 transfers because our public transit system is a huge joke. I feel bad for people who get their licenses taken away because, like, how are you ever supposed to get better? How are you ever supposed to get yourself out of that situation if you can't drive to work? And you have to drive to work because we can't bus anywhere. Now, in this case, if you're driving 7 times without a license and you're driving drunk, you're definitely a menace and you need to, you know, figure your life out. But for a lot of people, if they get into trouble one time, they lose their license for a long time. What are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to get to work? What's supposed to happen here, guys? It's crazy how we focus so hard on punishing people instead of trying to get them in a better situation and teaching them why what they did was wrong so that it doesn't happen again and re-release them into society. We focus so much on punishment and almost zero on rehab. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. I could go on and on about it. I'm sure you know that if you listen to Curiosity Killed Nightcat, the true crime podcast every Friday. I go on rants like that all the time. But we're not here for that. We're here for Miss Booze, who drove drunk, true to her name, and smashed into that Taco Bell sign. By the way, that's the Taco Bell where she works. So she damaged her own company's property. Poor girl. I hope she gets the help that she needs, because that's kind of sad, but also a little funny. And that is the litter box. Let's play with some toys. It's time for Sunken Treasure. Sunken Treasure is the part of the show where we dig through my toy collection and we play with something awesome. Okay, so here's the thing. This took forever to get here. Boom! It's the Cold Bernie bobblehead! Cold Bernie, of course, from the inauguration where he just sat there looking so unimpressed with his insanely huge mittens. I ordered this thing when it became available for pre-order back when there were memes everywhere. Remember when people just kept putting Bernie places? He was just going everywhere. The Grand Canyon, Epcot. That guy went all over the place. They announced the bobblehead for pre-order at like the end of January, and it was already the second highest selling bobblehead of all time, second only to Dr. Fauci. The thing is, though, that I ordered it in January. I did not get this thing until last week. So we are going to open him up. I'm sorry. Usually I like to wait for you, but I did open him already and look at him, but we're going to pretend I didn't and open him together. Oh, he's gorgeous. Are you kidding me? Look at him. Oh, he looks so mad. Doing, doing. It is like uncanny. That is a really great bobblehead. I love that they have him on the folding chair and everything. He's just, ugh. Now, was it worth waiting since January? Yes, because I loved Cold Bernie so much. I thought that he was just the memes were so good. Remember how horrible the beginning of the year was? We went through a bitter election. Everyone was fighting. People tried to riot at the Capitol. It was just a nightmare from start to finish. But for like a week or two, we got the Cold Bernie memes. And for just a minute, just like a week or two, it didn't feel like the world was so terrible. And that is what little Cold Bernie represents. And the thing is, I've been looking for something to balance out the desk as far as the set goes. Ooh, there we go. So on one side, you know, you'll have the microphone. I'm thinking Bernie right here on the other side, just flanking. Bingo bango. And that is Sunken Treasure! I think it's time then for us to dive into another one of my traumatizing stories with NIGHTCAT Classic Tales. NIGHTCAT Classic Tales is the part of the show where I relive some past life traumas for your amusement. Now, this one did not happen to me, but I'm going to tell you another movie theater story since everyone seems to love the movie theater stories so much. I worked at a movie theater for like 6 years, and this didn't happen to our location, but one very, very close to us, and that's all I'm going to say. I will never tell you which location it was because this is really bad. So I have a bunch of friends that worked there, and for a long time, their sodas tasted really bad. They tasted gross, and no one could figure out why. So they would change like the syrup bag in a box, and they would change like the CO2 cartridges, and they tried a bunch of different things and they couldn't figure it out. So they finally got a plumber to go in and look at the water lines. And the plumber finally came across, after a couple weeks of this happening, a dead mouse in the water line. People had been drinking dead mouse water. And I want to stop right here and say that literally this could happen anywhere. I'm not going to fault this theater. I'm not going to fault the employees because literally this could happen anywhere you go. Rodents live everywhere. If you think you don't have rodents in your house, you're fooling yourself, my friend. They get in everywhere and they can chew through anything and they can get themselves lodged in places. This was a complete fluke, and the thing is that it is also hilarious because my friend who finally told me what happened, because they kept it obviously real quiet, my friend who worked there was like, I can't tell you, Jackson, how many times we sat around in a circle around the soda machine, each taking a swig like, yeah, what is that? I don't know, it tastes wrong. It tastes, is it bad? Does syrup go bad? I don't know. And the whole time, they're drinking dead mouse tea, and they have no idea about it! Oh, so anyway, that's one of the grossest things that I think could ever happen, and that happens a lot in food service. I got some bad news for you. Anybody who's worked in food service has at least one mouse story. It has happened to everyone. And especially movie theaters, because the thing is, most of the mess is contained in the kitchen and the cooks clean up pretty fast if they're good cooks. And the busboys and the servers all, sort of keep the regular area clean. At a movie theater, we just drop people into a room for a couple hours. They then spill popcorn and Skittles and everything else all over the floor. And oh boy, is that inviting to some rodents, especially when the theater is nice and warm and they're cold outside. They come on in, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. There be mice in your movie theater, let me assure you. That is another NIGHTCAT Classic Tale. Let's put you little night kittens to bed with some warm milk. Warm milk, good news stories to help you get to sleep. This one comes to us all the way from the UK. A college student has invented a device that will instantly stop the bleeding of a stab wound. Now, the reason I brought this up is because I know a lot of you are also crime weirdos like me. And if you're a crime weirdo, you probably already know how hard stabbings are unless you get immediate help. Because you've got to basically just put gauze down or a t-shirt or something down on top of it and just apply a ton of pressure so that hopefully something inside clots. But if that's a big enough stab wound, you're going to have a hard time stopping that bleeding. This thing is called the Rapid Emergency Tamponade, or REACT is what they're calling it. It's a long silicone balloon on almost like a sword handle, and you put that balloon down into the stab wound, and then you use like this drill looking thing to attach to it and inflate the balloon. And then once it's inflated, it can stop all of the bleeds and clots can sort of develop. And then when it's time to pull the balloon out, that same tool will slowly deflate it and hopefully not disturb the clots. This thing would save hundreds of lives every year if it ended up on ambulances. This is a really big deal. And I am a child who ruined it for myself. Are you ready for this? It is the Rapid Emergency Tamponade, right? Well, that is spelled TAMPONade. Like Gatorade, TAMPONade, which I guess it is kind of a tampon, isn't it? You just, it's going in there to stop the bleeding. It's tampon-like. It's TAMPONade. So you can imagine how hard I laughed because I'm a giant child when I found this. The TAMPONade is suitable for large cavities. It is also easier to remove than current methods used to stop bleeding. This poor kid is just trying to save the world and help people who are in bad situations, and I am laughing because he calls it a TAMPONade. Because I'm the worst. Anyway, there's your good news. That is another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, episode number 26. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, we put the audio from each of these episodes on the Nightcat Radio podcast. Find it on your favorite podcast directory. Look for it wherever you listen to your podcasts. Plus, we drop the true crime episodes, Curiosity Killed Nightcat, every Friday. You can also find Curiosity Killed Nightcat on its own podcast feed now. So if you go look, Curiosity Killed Nightcat, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts, it should be there. And I've got a ton of true crime tours coming up. The Nightcat True Crime Walking Tour of downtown Salt Lake City. Get your tickets. There's a $5 off link in the link tree, which is in the description of this video. Look for linktr.ee/Jackson Witt. I'm going to tell you some more about murder, and maybe I'll tell you more about TAMPONades. All right. That's gonna do it for me. I can't stop giggling about TAMPONade. I gotta get out of here. Bye! Bye!